Hi, this is Katherine reporting for Kids First. Today, I am joined by one of my Kids First team members, SaniyaRain.
Hi.
And we're so excited to interview the amazing Calhoun Koenig, who is the lead actress of the upcoming film, A Bennett Song Holiday.
Calhoun Koenig came to the U.S. from northern China at the age of 1 and has lived in New York, Delaware, and Michigan. She is passionate about telling great stories, loves dystopian literature, art, and neurosciences. She's a singer, dancer, scuba diver, writer, painter, multimedia artist, and an accomplished pianist. So, Calhoun Koenig, how does your character relate to you in real life?
I relate to Pearl in a lot of ways. The biggest one being that we're both adopted, and just both of us being Asian American, and kind of how that will impact your life experiences. I feel like there are a lot of parallels between us. So, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, normally sometimes when you're in a movie, sometimes you really feel the character and how they are, especially when they're connected to you. So it's a little easier because I am an actor myself, so it's good to talk to other actors. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And so this movie is a sequel to Bennett's Song. So what was it like to reunite with the cast?
Dude, it was so good. It being a family film, it's kind of implied that we're all like family, but it's like this truly was a family in every way. So at first, honestly, I was a little nervous going back because the first film we bonded so much, and it felt like such a pocket of perfection that I was scared that going back it wouldn't feel the same. But stepping on set the first day, it was just like old times, So it was really fun.
Well, I can't even imagine what it'd be like to just it's almost like it's like a family reunion. That's
exactly.
once a year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. So my next question for you is, what was your favorite motivational scene and why was it?
It was probably a scene between my character Stephanie and Stephanie's boyfriend Robert. I kind of come to her house for like a song breakdown, and it's basically a big standoff scene between me and Robert because Robert's pretty controlling and trying to get Stephanie out of the band. But I have this monologue about how people need the art and it fuels people and it inspires people to create and to come together. And I think that that's probably one of the most motivational ones for sure.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. And I actually remember seeing that scene when you were talking about it. And I was just like, wow, like this movie is like, it has a really good message to it. So that's just really sweet how like that was one of your favorite scenes.
Well, yeah, and I agree. And speaking of messages, what were some key messages that you hope people will take away from this movie?
I think the biggest one is that they see a family that's so diverse, but they're just like any other family. Like I feel like this film in particular, like every single kid comes from a different place from around the world, and it's a combination of all these different cultures, but that doesn't change the way that they move throughout their daily life. So just kind of normalizing the adopted family's experience, but also just sending a message of unity and the importance of the arts and that familiar bond kind of thing.
Yeah, so to go back to your character, if you had the opportunity to change one thing about your character, what would you choose to change?
Oof. Um, I kind of, I wish in some ways that Pearl opened up a little bit slower because at the beginning of the film, she's pretty to herself and she's very, not cynical, but she was not really enjoying the family bonding at first when they all come together. But I feel like it was very, she didn't like them, but all of a sudden she loved them. And I wish that we saw a bit more of that transformation type of thing. So.
Yeah, it's always good to kind of like let it go a little more naturally and stuff. Yeah. So can you, so you were saying that you were adopted, which is amazing. And so can you talk about what it means for you to be a part of this film where a core part of your family identity is adoption and that's like an actual part of your life?
I think it was really amazing in the way that I don't see really any film or television that really shows adoption for what it is, um, in a positive way. That phrase has a negative connotation, but it's really cool because, you know, throughout my daily life, I almost never see families that look like ours. Like my brother's from Guatemala, my parents are from Kentucky and Indiana, so they're very white. So we get a lot of weird looks walking down the street where it's like, oh wait, like that's you, those are your parents, kind of thing. And so being able to be in a character in such a diverse family kind of made me feel more at peace with my own situation because of how much Pearl was in love with her family. Which I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
Yeah, and I can agree. I mean my dad looks like me, but my mom is really tan and nice
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then I hang out with my cousin a lot and she looks nothing like me, so we all just kind of we look like we're like not related at all, but
Bunch of
somehow we
misfits,
are.
yeah.
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 Yeah, that's really sweet. So again, on the topic of adoption, you played as an adopted character. Would you ever decide to adopt a child?
Yes, 100%. It's I say a lot that I have no idea what I'm doing with my life, but the one thing I know I want to do is adopt a child at some point. It's, you know, biological kids are a thing too, but it's just, you know, knowing how many kids out there that need homes, adoption is top of the list for me for sure.
That is so beautiful. Like, that's really sweet. Like, I've always thought about it, and it's really nice hearing that come from someone who actually has been adopted. So you get more of a closer look into it.
For sure.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I don't know, I'm just going to connect this to kind of a different subject, but it's kind of like even rescuing pets from like pet shelters or kill shelters, because it's kind of like that, but not quite,
No, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what was it like playing against such a mean character like Aiden?
Terrifying. Because the thing is, sometimes he would be like in character off screen too as like a joke, but I met him like that day, so I couldn't tell what was a joke and what was like actually him. So I was like, wait, I don't know how to respond to this. But on screen stressful. But once we got to know each other, he's a very kind individual and very cool to work with. So
Yeah, speaking of some cool things, in the movie, your character does seem to come across some parts of racism. So my question is, have you ever came across racism yourself?
yeah, I definitely have. When I was younger, you got the classic like, oh my gosh, like how do you see?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of jabs at the fact that I was adopted, where it's like, oh, your mother didn't want you, blah 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 blah. And I definitely did struggle for a while with a lot of internalized racism, where it was just like I had a very difficult time accepting the fact that I was Chinese, but it's like over experiences like discovering Pearl and going back to China, like I've really, come to accept myself in that way. So
That's really beautiful. As a Black person in this community, a lot of times we are getting, racism from all different types of corners, from different people. And, it's really hard to deal with it. But, once you kind of get used to it, you can just like brush it off and say, I know this is not true. This is not who I am. I am this person, and I like that. So, yeah.
And so this film seems to kind of, it really has just a very diverse cast and even ASL speakers, which is American Sign Language. And so I noticed that you use some ASL in some of your scenes as well. And so how and when did you learn ASL?
Well, I mean, we used it a little bit in the first film as well, but a lot more in the second film. And I haven't studied it kind of independently, but we had really amazing translators that were there, or interpreters, sorry, wrong term, interpreters that were there, and they kind of sat down with me and were like, okay, at these parts, this is how you're gonna say it, kind of thing. But I know a handful of our cast members actually went off to really study ASL, and one of them is actually majoring in it now and wants to become an interpreter. So yeah, it's definitely impacted a lot of people.
Wow, it's great how you get such a positive experience from all of this. I know I'd think it'd be super cool to learn ASL. I'm like, whoa, that'd be so cool. Like it'd be so cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, it's actually really cool because I actually am learning ASL. Like I'm teaching it to myself. So far I know the ABCs and a few other things. So yeah, that's really cool. But I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming with us, Calhoun. And I'm SaniyaRain F for Kids First. Be sure to watch A Bennett Song Holiday. It's already available streaming video on demand and DVD. See you later.
And I'm Catherine. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next interview or those of our awesome team members. Bye for now.
Bye.